So for this lab, we got to look at different teas and just kind of experiment with them and see what their different flavors are like, the different colors of these teas, the different aromas, and like the astringency as well. So for this first one, I have my black tea. So for this one, I made sure to boil the water and then let the tea steep for 3 minutes. After it was done steeping, it kind of looked like fall in a cup in my opinion, which I feel like this photo doesn't really do it justice, because it really was like a dark orange and kind of like brown color, which is really due to the oxidation of this tea. It's very oxidized, and it contains these theaflavins, which also contribute to that color. And this tea smelled kind of like chives and mint, almost like mixed together, which this is really mainly due to the terpenes and the essential oils that are known for making black tea smell kind of herby and minty like. And when I tasted this tea, I'm not gonna lie, it was very bland and bitter, which again, a lot of these natural compounds do contribute to that. The tannins and the polyphenols specifically really made it just very bitter. However, I did notice that this tea wasn't really that astringent. It was definitely, it definitely was astringent, but it wasn't as astringent as I expected it to be, just considering it is black tea. So all in all, I mean, it's definitely something that I could drink and it wouldn't like make my mouth feel like overly dry to the point where I would just not want to drink it. So now moving on to one of my herbal teas, which was a strawberry meadows tea. So again, for this one, I boiled the water and I let the tea steep for 3 minutes, the same as the first one. And the first thing that I noticed with this tea was the aroma. I knew that this was going to be my favorite just by smelling it. It definitely had a very strong strawberry smell to it, with kind of like a orangey hint, like just a very, very slight orangey hint to it, which was just very pleasant. And as you can see, this tea looks a lot lighter than the first. It's kind of like a light yellow with a bit of orange hue to it. This tea obviously tasted a lot sweeter because of the strawberry and the orange combined. And because herbal teas are generally made from various plants rather than just straight tea leaves, there are no tannins to cause astringency in this tea, so it really wasn't dry. And even though this tea did contain polyphenols like other teas would, it's interesting because in herbal teas, these polyphenols don't usually produce the same effect as they would in teas made from just pure tea leaves. So yeah, that was very interesting to get to kind of see the difference there. This one was definitely my favorite, all in all. So my next herbal tea was a peach herbal tea, and again, the brewing process was the same with boiled water steeping for 3 minutes. When this tea was done, as you can see, it kind of has like a olive green tint to it with like a little bit of a yellow hue. This one smelled straight like peach. I mean, there was like literally no other kind of smell to it. It was just straight peach, which was fine because when I tasted it, it really wasn't like overly powerful. It was like a very good balance. This tea was also not astringent, like I said before with herbal teas. The compounds in it don't react the same way as they do with teas made from straight tea leaves. The one thing though with this tea specifically that was interesting was the color. That was really like the one thing that stood out to me, because I didn't really expect it to be like as green as it was. I expected it to be lighter, but after just like kind of digging into it a little bit, I realized that this tea was probably made with a green tea base, because, you know, as we know, herbal teas are made with different things, which contributed to that darker green tone. Okay, so moving on to my white tea. For this one, I made sure to get the water up to 160 degrees, and then I let it steep for about 5 minutes. This tea was very interesting because it had a floral kind of aroma to it, along with the taste. The taste was kind of just, I really don't know how to describe it other than just very floral, like with kind of like a hint of sweetness to it. And this is because white tea is made from young buds that undergo significantly less oxidation than green or black tea. And honestly, I really enjoyed just the overall flavor and aroma of this a lot more than some of the other teas. It was just like, it was very calming. And as you can see, the color of this tea is quite literally clear. There's no color to it. And again, this is because it is oxidized less, and it also contains chlorophyll and these catechins. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. But these pigments do produce a lighter color, which obviously with this, it just ended up being clear. But in general, any tea that contains chlorophyll or catechins is going to be lighter in general. So moving on to our green tea, the prep for this was the same as it was for the white tea. This tea definitely had an earthy and leafy, just overall flavor to it. But the interesting thing with this tea was I honestly could hardly smell anything. Like, there was hardly any aroma to this tea, which is very interesting. As you can see, the color of this tea is kind of like a darky yellow with a little bit of a brown hue to it. And again, this is because, really the chlorophyll and the catechins kind of give it like that yellowish color. But one thing I did also realize is that the color of this could very well be because the tea leaves are not that high of quality, because green tea leaves that are not that high of quality are known to kind of produce this sort of color that we see here. This tea was a little bit astringent, but I wouldn't say it was like extremely astringent by any means, because I would definitely be able to drink a whole cup of this and it wouldn't be like making my mouth feel severely dry or anything like that. So last but not least, we have our oolong tea. This one I was very excited to make because I've never had oolong tea. So for this one, I made sure to get the water to 190 degrees, and then I let it steep for about 3 minutes. After it was done, as you can see, it was much darker than a lot of the other teas that we looked at. It was kind of like a dark brown with a little bit of an orange hue to it. And this is because oolong tea is partially oxidized, unlike other teas that are very little oxidized or are highly oxidized. However, the variety also plays a role in this color because different varieties can kind of produce different colors. So like some can be more of like a gold color, or other varieties like this one can produce more of like a dark brown color. The aroma to this tea was very earthy and nutty-like, which is because it's grown in a more mineral-rich soil than a lot of other teas. And a lot of the time, oolong leaves go through this roasting process, which other tea leaves do as well. But the roasting process really like enhances that earthy flavor that you get in this tea. In my opinion, this tea was not astringent at all. Which I think is one, because the way that these tea leaves are rolled and dried contributes to just like an overall smoother taste. And then two, with the roasting process, it actually tends to reduce any kind of like astringentness that may be within the tea leaves. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah.